Hi, I'm Dr. Seth Hosmer. I'm here at Hosmer Chiropractic. And what I'd like to go through today is a stretch we call the Spiderman hip stretch. And it's basically a multi-position stretch for your hip socket. So we're trying to figure out a way that we can loosen the front of the hip, the side, the back, in through the center, and give us basically a stretch through all different portions of the hip. So in order to do this, we need to work the hip in several different directions. And so the way that we're going to set this up is we're going to have one leg out in front, other leg is stretched out behind you. This stretch is very tiring at first for the back leg, so if you get tired, it's fine to rest that back knee on the ground, but generally you want to try and float that knee. In the front here, I'm going to have my right foot under my right shoulder, hand is on top of the foot, and we're going to put some light pressure from my right elbow out on the right knee. And the stretch is basically starting here. I want to keep my hips square with the ground. I'm not rotating. I want to keep everything nice and square, and then just sink down as far as I can. If I feel like I've got enough flexibility and comfortable with the stretch, I'll move my hands out like this. I'm trying to maintain good contact with my right foot on the ground. At this point, I'm not allowing my foot to tip out. We just want to maintain a good stretch across the hip and leg this way. So we're going to stay here. Starter hold is 5 breaths. You can work up to longer times in the future as you get more comfortable with the stretch. And then the second position for this one, I want to think about turning my hips and my belly button towards the side I'm stretching. So I'm going to rotate my belly button towards my right heel. This is a reasonable position for when you're relatively new to this stretch, although at first it's going to feel like when you turn towards your stretch side, you're not going to feel much change at all. But as you get more comfortable with it, you can also come down onto your right elbow. Continue to keep the knee tracking out. I'm going to turn towards this hip, and again, 5 breaths this way. And then we're going to work a third position here. Now I'm going to turn my belly button away from my stretch side. So I'm going to move this left hand out. Right hand goes up on the knee. I'm pushing away and dropping down. Note that I'm not just turning my trunk like this. I want to turn my belly button away so that I open the inside of the right hip. Okay. So another 5 breaths there. And then we're going to do a second position for this stretch. So I'm going to take my same right leg. We're going to move the foot so that the right foot is under the left shoulder. I'm still going to be maintaining this pelvis that's square with the ground to start out, and then sink down as far as I can in this position. And again, we'll do 5 breaths here. Common mistakes with this position is that people will drop over and let their knee touch on the ground, and they lose position of their hips relative to the ground. So make sure that your hips are staying square to the ground. Then we're going to do the same thing we did before. We're going to turn the belly button towards the stretch side. You can drop down onto your elbow if you want to. 5 breaths there. Then we're going to turn the belly button away from the stretch side and sink down. Another 5 breaths there. And we're going to repeat all that on the left side. So altogether, that should take you maybe 3 or 4 minutes. We generally start with using the Supernova ball for all the hip muscles, and also using the SI joint for the foam roller before we go through this. But this is a great stretch for the hips, and one that you should try.